Okay guys, I'm here to start a brand new review series. A old school, in a way, review series, because I'm looking at a show that started a long time ago. I am 2 years older than the series I am reviewing. And that series is The Great American Bash, which technically started in 1985 as a series of house shows. But this only is going to focus on the pay-per-views of the Great American Bash, and not the series of house shows Great American Bash. And the first Great American Bash pay-per-view was in 1988. Now, some of you may notice, some of you may not. Back in December, I did a Starrcade review series where I looked at all the Starrcades from 1983 to 2000. And I did that because Starrcade was essentially the first WrestleMania. It was the show that Vince gave the idea of WrestleMania from, was Starrcade. So, it was the first major event. The Great American Bash was WCW/NWA's second big event. So I figured I would review all the Great American Bashes from 1988 through 2008. So, yeah, this is going to include all the NWA/WCW Great American Bashes, and all the WWE Great American Bashes. Okay? So, the Great American Bash 1988 took place on July the 10th, 1988, because this was when it was in July, from the Baltimore Arena in Baltimore, Maryland. Now, Baltimore, Maryland, the Baltimore Arena has hosted 4 Great American Bashes. I know it hosted this one, and I know it hosted 1996's. I don't know the other two off the top of my head, so. This is a 5-match card, which is kind of rare that this is only a 5-match card, but it's a 5-match card. So our maximum star rating for this show is 25. So our opening contest is the NWA World Tag Team Championship match. Tully, Blanchard, and Arn Anderson versus Sting and Nikita Koloff. Now, if you've seen the Four Horsemen DVD, Tully Blanchard talks about this. And he talks about how the company wanted to draw like $1 million or something weird like that, or something, and he said that if you want that kind of drawing power, you would have to put the Road Warriors in this match. Now, that's on the Four Horsemen DVD, and I haven't seen it for a while, so I can't really say what exactly it was. So, they didn't do that. They did Sting and Nikita Koloff, and I don't even know what the buy rate for this show was. This is a 2-star match. It goes to a time limit draw, a 20-minute time limit draw. Which probably, I prefer, even for shows in the 80s, unless you were going to continue this, I really, really, really prefer that you do a finish of some kind, unless you continue a feud. And as far as I know, these two teams, I know they don't meet at Starrcade 88, which, by my knowledge, the WCW calendar would have been the next show after this, at that time. So, Nikita Koloff is the guy that takes the beating, which is odd because it really should be Sting, because he's kind of the more speedster of the two of them. And it goes to a 20-minute time limit. So, yeah, 2 stars. So then we get the NWA United States Tag Team Championship match. Yes, NWA/WCW had 2 tag team titles for a while. But I think they had this until like 1992 is when they finally dumped the United States Tag Team titles. Anyway, it's the Fantastics versus the Midnight Express. For those of you who don't know, the Fantastics are a team that consisted of Bobby Fulton and Tommy Rogers. And even though I am not going to be reviewing ECW shows, I do know that in 1997, Tommy Rogers showed up, in 97 or 98, Tommy Rogers showed up on in an ECW show. I think it was in 1998. And, of course, the Midnight Express is the second incarnation of the Midnight Express, Bobby Eaton and Stan Lane. Now, Jim Cornette, who's with the Midnight Express, is in a straitjacket and in a cage above the ring. Now, here's something weird. The World Tag Team title match had a 20-minute time limit. For the U.S. Tag titles, got a 30-minute time limit. That should be the other way around. Don't you think that the World Tag titles have a 30-minute time limit and the U.S. Tag title have a 20-minute time limit? Again, this is a standard tag match, but it has a finish. Specifically, after a ref bump, Bobby Eaton takes out a chain and he hits Bobby Fulton with it and he pins him. And he puts the chain in Fulton's tights, so the referee finds it in Fulton's tights. So it's kind of like how at Royal Rumble '98, after Rock hit Shamrock with brass knucks, he stuck him in Ken Shamrock's tights. That's kind of like how this is. So like I said, 2.5 stars. So then we get a match that's actually on the War Games DVD, even though it's not a War Games match. Shares parallels, but not a War Games match. And it's a Tower of Doom match, which, by the way, I can describe it is essentially that triple cage from Ready to Rumble, just with different rules. What it is, there's a normal size cage surrounding the ring. There's a smaller cage. There's like a medium-sized cage on top of that, and then there's a very small cage on the very top. 2 guys from each team of 5 start in that small cage. Every 2 minutes, a trap door opens that allows a person to get down to the other cage. And to win the match, all 5 members have to get all the way down through all 3 to both cages and then hit the floor. So this match consists of 2 teams of 5. One team of 5 is Ronnie Garvin, Jimmy Garvin, Dr. Steph, Steve Williams, and the Road Warriors, taking on Kevin Sullivan, Mike Rotunda, the Russian Assassin, Ivan Koloff, and Al Perez. Ronnie Garvin and Ivan Koloff start in the small cage, and Ronnie Garvin eventually is the first one out. He makes his way through all the cages and gets to the floor. And essentially, that's all this is. This is people fighting in the small cage and the cages and fighting to get down to the ring. So, yeah, that's all this match really is, really. That's why this, while it's on the War Games DVD, doesn't feel like a War Games, because War Games can have more substance. This doesn't really have substance. It's just basic brawling with, you know, in cages. The face team wins when Kevin Sullivan actually pushes Jimmy Garvin out, so he can try to get at Precious, who's the keeper of the key. But the faces eventually chase him out and all that. So yeah, 2 stars. So then we get the NWA United States Championship match, Barry Windham versus Dusty Rhodes, which came about when Barry Windham joined the 4 Horsemen, which Dusty Rhodes is very upset about. 3-star match this. Okay match. Finish is, there's a ref bump. And coincidentally, Tommy Young referees all but 1 match on this show. The only match he does not referee is the opening match. He's referee in some capacity in the other 4 matches on this 5-match card. So, there's a ref bump again, as if the one in the 2nd match wasn't enough. There's one here. And Dusty Rhodes hits the bionic elbow on Barry Windham. Ronnie Garvin comes in. Dusty Rhodes tells him to get Tommy Young into the ring. And then Ronnie Garvin takes his right hand, or his hand, and he punches Dusty Rhodes in the face. Windham puts a claw on, wins the match. It later was discovered that J.J. Dillon and Gary Hart apparently had paid off Ronnie Garvin to do that. Now, this is odd to me because, again, I believe the next pay-per-view was Starrcade of '88, and Ronnie Garvin's not facing Dusty Rhodes there. So I imagine they met on a Clash of the Champions, which I'm eventually going to get to, too, by the way, is all the Clash of the Champions shows. I'll get to those, but that could be a while. I'll get to those, but I think they might have met on the next Clash of Champions. So, 3 stars. So then we get the main event, the NWA World Heavyweight Championship match, Ric Flair versus Lex Luger. 3.5 stars this. I think it's a 3-star match, and there's a half a star because there's actually psychology in this match, which is a dying art form, really. Psychology makes a match so much better. It helps tell the story of a match better. Luger uses psychology a lot. The human torture rack is a move that works on the back. So what does he do? He uses moves that affect the back. He does a couple press slams, a bear hug, stuff like that. That's the way you weaken the back for the torture rack. And then Flair eventually starts working over the knee for a little bit. The finish in this match is interesting because J.J. Dillon rams Lex Luger into the ring post, and Luger gets busted open, even though it's not that big of a cut. It's only like a small little circular cut up here. But that's enough to stop the match under the Maryland State Athletic Commission's rules. At least that's how they cover it. And Flair wins. Now, I know that Flair and Luger met again at Starrcade 88, I do believe. And I think Flair still won that match, but I don't remember. I'm pretty sure they met at Starrcade 88 again, Flair and Luger, so that was a finish that made sense. It's a 3.5 star match. Could have done with a cleaner finish, but so out of 25 total stars, the first ever American Bash pay-per-view scores 13, which is actually a C show. In fact, it's in the C+ range, because if this were to get to 16 or 17, it would actually be a B-. So, I'm going to start a Great American Bash review series. This and all my Great American Bash reviews will be in that playlist of the Great American Bash review series. The next review of the Great American Bash review series will be 1989's Great American Bash. A Great American Bash that is argued to be one of, if not the greatest wrestling pay-per-view in the history of wrestling pay-per-views. And it'll be my first ever review of a War Games match, because there's one on there. A kind of a weak one given who's in it, but there is one on there. And I know it's got a classic match of Flair and Funk on it. I don't think it's the right Quit match, but so that'll be probably uploaded Thursday. So, like I said, I'm going to start an American Review Series playlist. That'll be in here. That'll be this, and all other reviews will be in that playlist. So if you like the video, like button is down there, subscribe button is down there, and thank you for watching. Bye.